Broadsword calling Danny boy.
Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Today we're going to be looking at water on Mars and the various places where you might find it. This is Google Mars. Just go on your normal Google Earth and click on the little planet icon up there. Go to Google Mars and type in Korolev Crater, spelled K-O-R-O-L-E-V, and this is what you will find. This is right near the North Pole. This is the North Pole of Mars here. You can see this white area. North Polar region. And Korolev is right in the melt zone, which is the crucially interesting, most interesting part of Mars. I think this is where they should have landed the rover, the recent rover. They merit that there may well be rovers up here that we don't know about, of course, that are already exploring this part of Mars, which is probably the most interesting from a naturalist point of view. There seems to be lots of trees and greenery. If you zoom into some of the area, there's lots and lots of green up here. Probably forests, all sorts of stuff going on. Of course, when the ice melts in the summer, this area will become flooded. There do seem to be lots of blue areas around this part of Mars. Lakes. Some very interesting geological features here. Lots of dunes with what look like trees and all sorts of stuff. We're not going to concentrate too much on that today. We're just going to go back to Korolev. This is Korolev Crater. It's about 50 miles across, a couple of miles deep, possibly deeper. I can't remember exactly how deep this is. There will be links to all this stuff in the description. But I thought I'd share this one with you because it's one of my favourite images on Mars. This is a very good quality image that they've stuck on here, unlike the strips either side. Now, of course, some of these areas were taken years apart by different Mars orbiters, which is why you get such difference in quality between some strips of images and some others. So you've got a real mixed bag up here. Some of it's really good and some of it's really poor. You've got to sort of pick your way through it. But yeah, I've uploaded that into my PaintShop Pro here. Now this is a clip of it I've taken from Google Mars, and I've just enhanced this is enhanced. I'll unenhance it for you. That's as it comes. Water. What can I say? Liquid water. We are told that the pressure on Mars is very, very low, but of course these very low lying craters, the pressure will be different because it's so much further down. So I would expect to find liquid water in a lot of these low-lying areas because of their depth. Whether this is fresh water or salt water or whatever, I don't know, but it may well be drinkable, and there may well be lots of creatures living in there. That this may be teeming with life. There could be all sorts of marine creatures living in there. Who's to say? I mean, I'd at least expect to see crustaceans or primitive sea creatures of some sort living in there. Who's to say? Let's just re-enhance that for you again. It looks better, as with most Mars things, if you up the contrast and drop the brightness a little bit. There we go. It really brings the stuff out. Some really good detail here. Really nice. Well, that's the first part. We're going to look at some other evidence for water on Mars. Now, this is a very interesting image. This is from the Opportunity. I'll show you the link here. Okay, there we are. Opportunity rover. Now, this was taken at about 2-3 years ago, between December and May 2011-2012. Endeavour Crater. Now, apparently the rover actually, let's zoom in a little bit on there, it sat on this hill for months, not moving, just sat there, surveying the area. I mean, why it would take that long to survey one sort of area, I don't know. I've got my own reasons for thinking why they did that, and I'll show you why. I'm just going to show you this image a bit closer. There's not much to see in the foreground apart from the rover itself and some tracks, and the tracks go right off into the distance, where you can see where it turned around here in this circular pattern here. But what I'm interested in is the background on this, which I think is very interesting indeed. Let's take a closer look at that now. Right, this is the untreated image. It's well worth downloading this. The link will be in the description as always. Well worth downloading. It's a high quality, high res image. Obviously when you zoom in real close it will still pixelate, but this hasn't been over compressed and resized. These are original images that have been put together. You can actually see the joins where they've joined some of these images together. And it's supposed to be false colour. Now what that actually means I don't know. It seems to have the usual puke filter on it. Now we know full well that the rover isn't even that colour. You know, it's the solar panels aren't that colour. I know there's probably dust on this, but still, that isn't the colour of this particular rover. So you can take from that what you will. So that this whole landscape is probably bluer and lighter in colour than it is now. Now the bit I'm particularly interested in is here in the centre of the image, going right across here. Now I would tend to ignore the shape of the horizon here slightly because that's distorted. This was taken as a panoramic circular image, which would go 360 degrees. So you're seeing a distorted kind of hump in the centre there, caused by lens barrel distortion. So I would try and ignore that if I can. So imagine this being a lot flatter than it is in this image, and we're going to zoom in and have a look at what I think is water, and lots of it. It looks like a lake or a sea or something. Now at first glance you think, well, okay, it's blue. Okay, it's blue, and there's lots of rock. There's some funny looking cone-shaped rock there, which may or may not be something interesting. Don't know. That seems to be like a crater there, but when you start to play with the image, things start coming out, and you think, well, is this a beach? Is this water we're looking at here? Now, I got to say also, this horizon looks very suspect. This looks like it's been almost like it's been cut off. There is up to the right here. There is a sort of hill in the background. There we go. Now this is miles and miles away by the looks of it. But the area we're looking at initially is this part here. It's all blue. Now, why is it all blue? Could it be blue sand? Yes, it could be blue sand. It may well be. But when you enhance the image, which I've done here, I'll show you. Let's zoom back out of that. I'll show you the enhanced version of it. Now all I've done here is blur it a little bit and up the contrast and darken it. And this is what happens. In fact, I'll show you how I've done that. I'll just quickly do that. Let's just do that a couple of stages. 2 or 3 stages, and there we are. That's how I got to that. Okay, but we'll look at this one anyway because I've already done that. Now, look at the colours in here. Now look at this background. When you start to darken things up, it takes on a whole different sort of meaning, really. This looks like a beach. Now if you look at this sort of white line going across the centre here, and there's another one here. This to me looks like water that is crashing up against the beach here. And this goes all the way along. This is miles long. And bear in mind that this would be a lot flatter. This is a slightly distorted image we have here because it's taken a 3D sort of panorama, 360 degree panorama. But there are large white areas of what look like surf. Look at this. Look at this area here. This looks like a shallower part of the beach here, and perhaps a sort of sandbank or something sticking out there. There's blue coming right up here. This is very flat, like a beach. There's little rocks and sand, and you can see the definite change in colour here between the sand and the water. I mean, what else could it be? Now, it's a little bit disorientating with Mars, as I said a bit earlier, that when you have blue sand, which you do in some areas, you have this sort of grey-blue sand, probably from Olympus Mons when it went off, that probably left a layer of sort of ash, which probably blotted or stained the whole landscape of Mars. And in some areas, you get these massive areas of dark grey-blue sort of dust in the sand, just basically coloured the sand blue. So this may or may not be water, but it looks suspiciously to me, if you look at this white area here, that this is a beach, and you could probably get your surfboard and take it down this beach and surf. There's obviously some shallower areas of water here. There's a bit of ground sticking up above the water, like here. It could be a reef. It could be just a shallow area. But it seems to me, if you look closely, once you've enhanced the contrast a bit, and that's all you have to do, that there's water, and there's loads and loads of it. This looks like a lake, a large lake. I mean, who's to say exactly how long this is? But I'm guessing, I mean, judging by the distance here, that the whole horizon here is probably about 5 or 10 miles. Who's to say? Probably nearer 5, I would say. And so you're looking at an area here of about 4 miles from there to there. You have higher areas either side, here and here. This looks like a lagoon. What can I say? And when you get in close, this looks like a large rock or something here, and you can even see sort of individual rocks sticking up in the water, like you would expect on a beach. These black dots, and there's some here and see, this looks like a shoreline. Look at this water. There's even a hint of green in some of this. There may even be weed washed up on this shore here. I could be completely off the mark. It does seem a little grainy, a lot of this, as if it's been pixelated or something. But this is probably the sun reflecting on the water, which has given us this kind of shimmery effect here. These little white bits here. And of course, anyone who's ever been surfing or has been sailing would know, as I have, that you get waves in sets of 3 or 5 or 7 or whatever, and you can see what looks like very shallow water here coming up the beach, and there's a wave here, then there's another wave further back, and then there's another one further back here, and then you have a smooth area further away where the water isn't so choppy, which is exactly what you get on a beach. The water gets choppier as it comes in. There's usually a shelf, a sand shelf or sandbar, if you want to call it that, and then it suddenly gets shallower, and then you have a long, almost flat beach, just like you would get on Earth. What can I say? It looks to me like a beach, and it's miles long. It's huge, and it may go much further. And this is only one end of it. This could be enormous. So I just thought I'd show you that, because I think this is one of the best panoramas I've seen for a while from Mars, and it's actually quite an old one. It's a few years old, as is this image of Korolev Crater that I've already showed you. So there we go, water on Mars. And if you look at the polar region, the North Polar region especially, there's all sorts of blue patches and what look like lakes and areas of these could be salt lakes now, who's to say? That this whole part of the planet was probably once underwater, and all we're seeing now is the remnants of that, and it may only now get flooded in the summer when the ice melts. See that there's lots of greenery, there's lots of blue stuff going on here. A lot of this may just be blue volcanic sand, but it seems a little bit too blue to be volcanic sand. The volcanic sand is generally sort of a more blacky sort of grey colour. I mean, look at all this. I mean, it's all over the place. If you zoom in, and you can see some real interesting stuff here. There's even trees up here. There's all sorts of stuff. This is the most interesting part of Mars, and they probably have a rover they sent there, unbeknownst to us. They could have sent dozens of rovers up there by now. We don't really know. we're probably only seeing a fraction of what they've taken. The Curiosity may be one of many rovers that were sent up. It would probably be cheaper to send up a couple at a time, I'd have thought. And you know, one will send images to us from the desert area. There's not much to see, and all the real rock and roll stuff could be going on up here in the North Pole. You know, we don't really know what they're up to. Is it liquid water? Probably. Is this frozen C2O? Don't know. I reckon it's probably frozen water up here. Why shouldn't it be? If the planet was once half covered in water, why would there not be ice caps there now? And that's what there are. Work it out for yourself. I have some other images here of what may or may not be water. We're not just looking at Korolev Crater here. Let's darken that up a bit more just to really bring out that. It's quite a stunning image, this one. One of my favourites. Look at that. Obviously water. You can see the waves in there. Stunning image, that one. I wish they were all as good as that. We're going to look at some other images now. Let's get rid of this one. Okay. This is an image showing some running water over a different time period here. We got some water coming out of this edge of this crater here. It looks like a waterfall coming out. On the left, this is 2001. On the right, this is 2005, and you can see the difference here, where the water's come out of the rock. I think I can't remember this. I think this may be European Space Agency. This one, I've got the link here. The links will all be in the description, by the way. So if you want to download any of these, just go to the description on YouTube, and it should all be there for you. So don't worry about that. Let's have a quick look up here. I've got this other stuff. Here we go. This is the Global Surveyor, showing a black and white image, grayscale. This is not brilliant, but the detail's pretty good. You can see the movement of the water over a period of time. Just thought I'd throw that one in, just as we're doing one on water on Mars. I thought I'd throw that one in. There's this image, which is from the high rise, which is absolutely stunning. You've really got to download this one. This is a good high-res image. You can get the larger file. I would go for the largest you can handle really on your computer. But it looks great in any size. This one, I mean, it's really good. Let's go back to PaintShop Pro, and I'll show you some strange stuff on this. Let's get rid of that one. Now, this image on the right here is part of this here. Is in fact this top right corner. You look at that part of the image there. Oh, hang on. Sorry. We've got this particular section here in the top right corner. This is a clip from it. This is downloaded straight from their site. I didn't clip that. But this looks suspiciously to me like water. Now, it says in the blurb about this that it's in fact it's blue sand. It's volcanic. It may not be, but it looks like sand. This particular configuration here, with the way the sort of dunes are formed, is probably volcanic sand. Now, you do get funny coloured sand on Earth, not usually that blue. It's usually sort of a blacky grey colour on some of the volcanic islands in the Mediterranean and places like that. You can even get black sand. You know, I actually think a lot of the stuff that looks like water on Mars is not actually water. It's just blue sand, and sand can act a bit like a liquid when it's blown around by the high wind. It forms dunes and look like waves from high up. From a Mars orbiter, they can look very much like rivers or lakes, you know. So it's easy to get confused by some of this stuff. So I'm going to have a closer look at that. But what we may be seeing here is a mixture of both. Now, if you look at this shadow here, now this is obviously raised above this lower section, and there's a large dune here, but this over here looks suspiciously to me like surf, like waves that you would get on the beach. And if we zoom in, there, these look like waves. Now, this is very disorientating because you're looking from a long way up, probably probably 20 miles up, 25 miles up, or I'm not sure exactly, don't know the level of zoom on the camera they use for this. Could have been much further up, could have been lower down, depends on the level of zoom. But this does look very interesting. It's well worth downloading this stuff just to take a look at this, because it's very high quality. And let's get the smaller one here. I mean, this is the area of interest. I mean, this may not be water at all. This may just be sand that's formed to look like a beach. But it may well have had water in this area not long ago, which has formed this sedimentary deposit here of light coloured sand in the darker coloured sand. And there could still be some liquid water here. I mean, it does look very much like when you look at Google Earth. If you look at some of the ocean areas on Google Earth, it looks a bit like there's a coral reef here, you know, and there's a sort of plateau area here with shallow water and surf here. Now, is this an ocean? Is this a lake? What are we looking at here? You've got water. It looks very much like surf running up against the sand on a beach. Now, the fact is that the sand is blue, so it's a very, very difficult image to actually get your head around, because you're looking at possibly blue water running up over blue sand, or there may not be any water here at all. This may just be sand deposits which were left by water. Either way, it's a very interesting image. There was one strange object here which I thought was interesting. This shiny circular thing here that I thought was quite interesting. Probably just a rock, but it could be a lighthouse, who knows. Just thought I'd throw that in. There are some other images I've been looking at also. Where has it gone? Okay, let's go down here. We've got some other stuff. Oh, hang on, that's not it. Okay, let's get rid of that. The links will be in the description, so you can get all this stuff. If you look up Korolev Crater on Google Images, you will probably end up on my website, which is one of the few places you can get it. It's not a very large clip of it, but you can just go on Google Mars and clip it yourself. Just type it in and it will come up, and you can just take a clip and have a closer look. I recommend that because it is a very good quality image, unlike most of Mars, which is rubbish. Thanks for watching, everyone. Links will be below in the description as usual. I hope that wasn't too long for everybody. Keep searching, and I'll see you soon.